go. So I started this mastermind group in 2019 because as a beginning business owner, I heard that who you surround yourself with matters. If you start surrounding yourself with people with bigger ideas, bigger mindset, people who don't hide their secrets, but give it out freely and share their resources, you're going to eventually become a little bit more successful by surrounding yourself with the right people. I read a book called Think and Grow Rich. And in the 10th chapter, they talked about the power of the mastermind. And I said, you know what, I'm going to find this mastermind group in my area because I really want to get plugged into a group like this. And I couldn't really find any mastermind groups. There were a lot of like networking groups where you share, you know, business cards. There were a lot of like referral groups, but I really couldn't find a mastermind group. So I started one. And slowly over the years, I started refining it, and it's becoming better and better. And then a year ago, I met life coach Jesse, and we've been really refining it and adding a lot of value to the people who join us. But one of the things I wanted to do is every single month, I wanted to elevate our mindset of what's possible, because we can only grow to the possibilities that we think that is possible for ourselves with our own mind, right? Unless we get exposed to different people, different ideas. And so every single month, I bring in a special guest speaker to expand our mindset and share some information that we maybe not have in our mind. And then afterwards, brainstorm with that person right here in the room who's doing millions and millions of dollars in business or have the expertise in something that we don't. So it's my pleasure tonight to introduce, I met this gentleman probably about 6 months ago now. His name is Ryan Roques. And so Ryan is the owner of First Choice Business Brokers in Corona in Ontario. He's also the president of TFB Capital Advisors. As an owner and expert in the business, sales, and acquisition, Ryan brings a wealth of knowledge from First Choice Business Brokers. The organization that he's a part of has been around since 1994, and it does over $7.5 billion in business sales under its belt. First Choice is a beacon for both buyers and sellers seeking unparalleled expertise. Ryan has an immense experience and skills in business financing, specializing in SBA loans, business market price analysis, mergers and acquisitions, and business analysis, and crafting foundations that empower business owners to navigate through complex terrain of buying and selling businesses. So one thing I want you to think about tonight is Ryan is going to teach you a lot of information. There's all sorts of ways that you can get money for business. SBA is a hidden secret that a lot of people don't understand fully. And he's going to tap a little bit about what SBA loans are and how you can actually capture a business with no money down, how to expand your business, and also how to think long-term once you're building your business, how to exit it for the most money possible. So not only is Ryan, an expert in this industry, he's a family man. And a quick side note, he's also an ex-NFL football player for the 49ers. He was there for a little bit of time. So please help me give a warm welcome to Ryan Roques. Here's your clicker. It's all you, my brother.
So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jesse. Again, this is a great group. Really love being part of it. I've been so busy that I haven't really had time to connect in with the group in quite a while. But it's just so good to be back around and be around people that have such great ambition, but not only ambition, they have the drive and the execution to match it. And that's when we're doing, you know, and from the sports world, we're sitting here going, hey, look, it's all talk until we get out there and execute. We have to execute. And that's the people that you get in your circle. The people you want around you is people that can think, and then you want people that can execute. And hopefully when you find those two individuals that are the same in one, roll with them. So and it's funny that you were just saying that God spoke to you too. I was just you know, getting some you know, now it's just time to start investing properties and whatnot. And then first thing, as soon as I come in here, he's like, yeah, dude, commercial properties. I was like, all right, that's what I've just been thinking about getting into. That exactly, right?
That's
So
amazing.
I was wanting to, I was like, I'm gonna start looking and see
Yeah.
this aspect because I want to start taking
Yeah.
advantage of that. So today, like Nick said, thank you for the introduction. I come from the background of business acquisitions and the SBA loan program, and I've probably helped individuals, business owners from all stages of the not having a business at all to having a business and growing a business to selling a business, all using the same programs and the same mindset. And it's probably been to the tune of several hundreds of millions of dollars of capital to business owners on every level, not having a business to on all those levels. So today we're going to go over how to value your business and why it matters. And we're going to do this because it's the same foundational program that how to value and why it actually matters. The SBA loans, of buying a business, it all ties into the same thing. If you do this, if you're increasing the value of their business, you're also increasing the amount of money that you can ask for from the SBA to grow your business. When you find a business that has these characteristics, you know that you can actually purchase that business without it being coming on you. So you're going the business will basically carry it. So the primary metrics drivers of value in a business: cash flow. Cash flow is king.
Yep.
Even at the bank.
Yep.
At the bank, it doesn't matter. They're at the top level of the bank. Walk in and they'll tell you, hey, cash flow is king. It doesn't have cash flow. If it doesn't have cash flow, it doesn't matter. Their gross sales are going to say, hey, why are we looking at this? The cash flow is not there. And that's usually the net operating income or the seller's discretionary earnings, which basically means after all the expenses, how much do you have to go buy what you want? Some people look at the, when you get in a larger business, they look at the EBITDA, they call it, which means that, hey, the business made $500,000, but I paid myself $400,000. So the EBITDA of the business was only $100,000. They're like, oh yeah, so EBITDA, we'll give you 4 times the EBITDA. Yeah, but he decides that he pays himself $400,000. So why don't you just go ahead and say, oh yeah, we'll give you 4 times EBITDA. So I look over at this guy and say, Nick, who decides who pays you? I do. I need you to say right now I'm not taking a salary anymore. I'm not taking a salary anymore. Your price just went up $1.4 million if you go by that ratio off of what you said. You can't do that here in this thing. It can't, the price, because now the EBITDA, it just, if he decides who pays him, then just with a simple thought, the value changes.
Yeah.
So when you're in the smaller businesses on this level, smaller meaning I experienced maybe less than 2 million in net operating income, usually go by the seller's discretionary earnings. Risk, cash flow risk. Can the cash flow be predicted? If you made this much this year, what's to say that you're going to make that much next year? If you can't prove or have some kind of system in place that you're going to make that much next year, or you can't predict how much money your business is going to make next year, that's risky. And banks consider that risky. Now, that's why they collect 3 years of tax returns from your business. Now, why would you collect 3 years of historical tax returns? That's not going to pay your loan off. It doesn't matter how much I made 3 years ago to pay your loan off, because your loan doesn't, I didn't even have your loan then. Your loan starts from here and goes from there. So why would you need 3 years of tax returns that have nothing to do with your loan payment? Well, because it's a historic picture of what it will. We can predict that it's going to continue making this. We did this. It's just, it's our way to predict what it's making. Cash flow risk, trends, sales trends. Are the sales trends going up or down?
Yeah.
Very basic. So if you're looking at a business to buy, cash flow, how much cash flow is it making? Not gross sales, because if they make $5 million in gross sales, but they have $5.1 million in expenses, they're losing $100,000 per year, right? That's not a business, that's a charity.
Yeah.
right? So if I go buy $1 million worth of toys from Walmart, and then I sell them for $1 million the next day, I can go to somebody and say, hey, we've got $1 million worth of gross sales this year. Yeah, but you bought it for $1 million. That's why we don't talk gross. It's the system in place that it's how much money the system in place of how much money you can actually make. Yeah. And that's what the lenders are going to look at to decide how much money to give the business. That's what a buyer's going to look at when they're looking at how much money to pay you for your business. And that's what you should be looking at if you're looking to buy a business. Yeah. What is primary metric drivers of a capital loan request? So let's just say I have my own business. And this is good for even if you are starting, don't have a business, but you're starting your business. And everybody's not going to be here right now for your own business. You look at your own business and see if it matches up to this, or you look at it from the outside perspective from here. Now, I can tell you everybody's business is not going to be there, but it's just to give you an idea. Cash flow. This is for if you go try and get a loan. Let's say you want to grow a business. I'm just starting. My business has been there for 2 years. I need, $300,000 to hire some people or need a loan. This is what they're going to look at. Cash flow. Risk. Trends. Same things. Yeah. That's why it's just the same system. Now, the funny thing is that because I've worked for the banks and I worked as a business brokerage, the two of them don't actually know that they're looking at the same things. They still don't know. Like, right? They're going, you guys are looking at the same things, but you just call it different things. Yeah. Right. Like, so what is cash flow? We're talking about cash flow. Cash flow, most small business sellers discretionary earnings. Now this has so many different acronyms that they go. Sellers discretionary earnings, NOI, all these acronyms is basically, this net income plus owner's wages, add backs, non-recurring expenses. It is all the money that goes to you. How much money could you cash and stash under your pillow if you really wanted to? If you add it up, that's what it is. For most small businesses, the SBA program, which is run by the government, they describe a business, which they came out this year, as net operating income, net assets of less than like 20 million, net operating income of less than $6.5 million. That's a lot of money to be called a small business. That's not gross. That's net. After all expenses, if you're making less than $6.5 million, the SBA government describes you as a small business. But in my experiences, usually the small businesses, if you're kind of less than 2 million, that's kind of where they put you in that category. And usually it's 1 million, and they're not looking at EBITDA. When it gets over 1 million, then that's when EBITDA starts coming in place, because you have a manager, you have a bookkeeper, you have all these people. But when your business, your EBITDA is kind of lower, and I have to tell people, hey, at no point you're dealing with like families that are running businesses, right? Like you're dealing with like families that are running businesses, and it's their books, and they're doing that. Gross revenue is not cash flow, despite what many owners may believe. Now, this is coming right from business valuation experts, because I knew this, but I just had to make sure that I checked with the business, the people that are actually evaluating the businesses. So if you go get a loan, if you go to buy a business, if you go to sell a business, they'll probably have they'll require a business valuation. They came and they were like, most people think that gross sales is cash flow, and they're like, that's not cash flow. It's cash flow is what you have after expenses. Yeah. Gross revenue does not increase value. Cash flow increases value. This is a statement right from one of the largest business valuation companies right here in the country. Gross revenue does not increase value. Cash flow increases value. So if your gross revenue went down, but you've cut down somewhere in the expenses and your net operating income went up, you've just increased the value of your business. Gross revenue does not increase value. Is your gross revenue more important than your net income? Nope, absolutely not. In business loans, gross revenue does not increase your qualified loan amount. So it doesn't matter if you said, oh, your gross sales went from 2 million to 4 million, but after expenses, you still made the same amount of money. And so you don't qualify for any more than you did. Matter of fact, you probably less, because now you have more work to do. Now we really need to look in to see why you're making less money with more gross sales. Cash flow is king, the value of your business. This is pretty much on all levels. If you're going to buy a business, you should be looking at the cash flow. If you're scrolling through businesses, the cash flow is what you should be paying the most attention to. If you have a business and you're going to try and grow your business, they're going to pay attention to the cash flow of your business. If you're going to sell your business, they're going to pay attention to the cash flow of your business. I had a buyer investor today take a look at one of our businesses, and he's like, yeah, the cash flow just isn't matching up to the price. I was like, you are right. I told him that. He didn't want to listen. I'm like, this doesn't justify the price. Everyone tries to attribute all this sentimental value. Hey, we started this business 30 years ago, and we didn't have anything, and we started in a garage, and they have the whole True Hollywood story, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, no one cares. it's look, how much money are you making, and what do I have to do to make it? Yep. Cash flow and lifestyle. How much money is it making, and what do I have to do to actually make that? Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately. So yeah, $15,000 in gross sales and $15,000 in expenses is not good for value, and does not, $15 million does not qualify for anything. Yeah. But let's just say you had $250,000 in gross sales and 90 in expenses. That would qualify you for about $1 million real estate loan, right? But look at this, $15 million in sales. But if you have $15 million in expenses, you wouldn't qualify for a penny. $250,000 in gross sales, and then you had $90,000 in expenses, you'd qualify for about $1 million real estate loan. It's about a $500,000 business loan or business capital loan. So, these numbers, everyone thinks that you have to be making a lot of money in order to ask for a lot of money. Not the case. What determines cash flow? Your tax returns, your business tax returns. So that is what decides the cash flow. Yeah. So when you're starting your business, or you're in your business or whatnot, and someone's telling you to write off everything so that you don't have to pay taxes, well, that's fine if you never want to be able to get a loan, never want to be able to sell your business, and have the bank looking at you like you are Joe Schmo when you go to try and request any money. Oh, what do you mean? We're doing great. We have a portion in the driveway. Well, according to these tax returns, you're not doing great. We don't even see how you're walking around because according to this, you don't even have money for food. And I've literally seen these. They have Porsches, boats, all this stuff, and according to their tax returns, they made negative $7,000 last year. And they're asking for $1 million loan, $500,000 loan, and we can't do anything for them. It's the tax returns. Just so that $90,000 on the bottom line of your tax returns after expenses could qualify you for about, in SBA buys, if you have it, give or take your personal expenses, about an $800,000 or $900,000 real estate loan, about a $300,000 to $400,000 business loan. On the tax returns, it's all based off the tax returns. So I used to hate to pay taxes until I worked for a bank and saw how they judge people. So SBA loans, you can use it to buy real estate, businesses, equipment. A lot of contractors use it to they took out large equipment loans, and their equipment loans are usually amortized over anywhere between 5 to 7 years at certain rates. A lot of them would come and use the SBA loans to amortize, to refinance the equipment loans, cut their payments in half without a prepayment penalty, and increase the cash flow of their company, because now they have more room cash flow wise. So the contractors would usually do that. And then also they need working capital, because that's one of the departments where you may have to do the work before you actually receive the income. So you want to make sure you're in position to actually ask for and receive working capital. You know the money's coming, it's just not here right now. We got to get the contract. And so your tax returns are going to help put you in that position to be able to actually do that. They look and they see, oh yeah, they're making money. Give it to them. Profit and loss statement. So your interim profit and loss statement, if we're halfway through this year right now and somebody were to request an SBA loan, they're not going to have a tax return for 2024. So they're going to say, well, on all your tax returns, or 3 years tax returns up to 2023, and your interim profit and loss statement, which means up until now, your profit and loss statement for 2024. That needs to be within 90 days current of closing. Interim financial statement, profit and loss statement, and the W-2s. So if you pay yourself, that actually counts towards your cash flow. They're not going to deduct you. If you can pay yourself $90,000, $100,000, and they're not going to say the business made $90,000 or $100,000 less. They're going to know that went to them. It's all in the same pool. What determines risk? Owner dependency. Got a business right now where the guy's trying to sell it, and he is the business. He's the only one there. And so it's like, if they're buying it from you and you're not there anymore, then what are they buying? And I asked him, I said, what are they buying then?
Yeah.
And he was dead silent. Equipment. So, well, how much is your equipment worth? About 130,000. Then why are you selling for 500,000? What are you? Yep. What do they buy? He had no idea what they were buying. So the owner dependency, and this right here is going to take. This is when you know you really have a business. Is when it's not owner dependent. Now I'll tell you this right now. I don't have a business that's not owner dependent right now. So there's nothing wrong, no shame in not being here right now, but just to have that in your head of to have a goal. One day I will have a business that is not dependent on me. And I know that will increase the value of my business by multitudes. So in my head, it helps me think, okay, what do I do? What would I need to pay somebody to do that? Right. So think of that in your head while you're doing this. What do I do? What would it take for me not to be here? Could this person do what I do? Could this person do what I do? So it's that. Cash flow fluctuations. You have 1 year where you're up here, another year where you're up here, and have one business where they made $300,000 this year. Then the next year they made $25,000 on a tax return. Right. Yeah. That's risky. They're gonna say, well, how do I know next year is not going to be the $25,000 year rather than the $300,000 year? So you want to have an explanation for that. And it may be, hey, you know what, that's not really reflectant on what we did, because we did this work in this year, but we got paid for it. The month just happened this year. As long as you have an explanation for it, it's fine. Customer concentration, usually over 30%. Is somewhat of a red flag for lenders. Say, hey, all your work went to this one client. If this one client happens to decide, if one client goes out of business, or they decide they don't want to do business with you, you may go out of business. Yeah. So you may not be able to control this, in some years or whatnot, but keep an eye out for it to try to not have more than 30% of a concentration to one client if you can. Obviously, I don't know how much work you can turn away or not, but if you can help that, keep an eye out for that. This is something nobody really knows until they actually go to the bank, and the bank says, well, you got a customer concentration. They're like, what are you talking about? You know how hard it is to get Walmart as on your payroll? They're like, yeah, but 75% of your business went to Walmart, and they don't pay for like 120 days. They're going to put you out of business. They don't know, right? And I'm just using names, but some of these larger clients that can take this large percentage of people's businesses, now you're under under what they say. They'll pay when they want to pay. And if you're not, what are you going to do? We have 75% of your business. Right? You see that sometimes, Alan? Man, you guys, it would be the good thing, to pay within 60 days or something. Why are you guys taking so long? Well, because we can't. Yeah. And supply chain, if your business is dependent upon a certain supply chain that's not available, see if what you can do to mitigate that.
Yeah.
What determines trends year-over-year sales? Is demand going up or down? Yep. Is gross income on tax returns going up or down? Now that would, we normally don't talk about gross income, but if your margins are the same, if your cash flow is going up or down with your gross income, then that is going to make a difference if the gross income is going up or down. Now, your gross income may go down on your tax return, but you may have made some changes and said, look, we focused more on this product rather than this one because this one was more advantageous for us, and we made that switch. Then that's a positive. But if it's just the demand went down, they're going to say, have an explanation.
Yeah.
Is net income on the P&Ls going up or down? So what does this mean? The more cash flow, net operating income, seller's discretionary earnings, you report on your tax returns and P&Ls, the more your business will ultimately be valued. Yeah. So your own business will be worth more if you have these cash flow, these characteristics to your business. Yeah. It will be able to borrow more, which means you'll be able to grow more. And now it's, if you have a business with the SBO, a couple game changer programs, if you own a business and you want to buy a business that has the same tax code as your business, right now the SBA has what's called an expansion program, and they will let you do it for no money down. Right? So that's a game changing program. Yeah. The more money you'll be able to value. Yeah. And the more you will be able to sell your business for when the time comes. Now, your business is going to be your legacy. It's going to be what you built up and what you have. And you may want to pass that down to a family member. You want to pass it down to a kid, right? You can bring your child in as, let's say, a 20% partner, while they, or even a 5% partner, whatever it is. Teach them 1%. They could be 1% owner of the company, and you give them a position, they're paying a job, whatever, right? You can now, when you build it up, you've been watching your cash flow. You've been reporting the income on your tax returns, knowing you're going to get about 50 times that. Whatever you pay in taxes is going to count to about 50 times more than you actually paid. So if you paid, $10,000, somebody says, hey, I found $100,000 in write-offs for you and saved you about 10 to 15 grand in taxes. Let's just say that $100,000, you didn't write that off, and it went down to the bottom line, and you did have to pay that 10 to 15 grand. At a 4 multiple, that's $400,000 you just screwed yourself out of. That's $400,000 for 15 grand. They just lost you, but they saved you 15 grand. You were smiling when you walked out, right? And that's just pure numbers right there. That's at a 4 multiple. You just lost $385,000 to save 15 grand that 1 year. So you will see that back if you know how to use it. Your tax returns for this system are a great asset to you, a great asset to you. Paying those taxes, it's a great asset. You maybe miss one. Your reported cash flow will be the prominent driver in the ultimate value of your business legacy. Whatever you want that to be, whether you want to start out buying business, whether you want to start your own business, grow your business, and then you want to sell your business. Like Alan says, you guys have a exit strategy, and these are some of the things, and I'm sure we'll tell you that are going to help get that value, get that that income, that the sale price that you're looking for. And that's all. And so are there any questions or
I have a question.
yes?
So let's say you're just starting out and you really don't have the 3 years of tax returns. Is there any like funding sources through the SBA or anything that may be an option for those businesses who don't have the background yet?
Is this for a business that you are starting up yourself, or a business that you are currently a part of, or that you own? Let's just say you've owned it for 2 years or 1 year or something like that. Well, ultimately, they would like 1 year of cash flowing tax returns. I just got this that $5 million loan, and this is kind of a feather in the cap for our company. The $5 million loan we got approved today, they had 1 year of cash flowing tax returns to account for that.
What business tax are you?
Insurance.
Oh.
Right. So the previous year, it didn't go. It would not work at all. And they were like, "Oh, hey, well, Ryan, that's this is we're gonna do this, but you do know this is only 1 year. We only have 1 year cash flow tax return."
Wow.
Yeah, blah blah blah. We can get it done.
Yeah.
All right. So ultimately, that's that. Anything other than that would be a startup.
Yeah.
And the way to get around to mitigate the ask for an SBA loan in a startup would be to have some kind of franchise, be a part of some kind of franchise, some kind of system.
Yeah.
And from there. So even if you say, the Allen contracting system, right? Yeah. They can see that that's part of a system. Yeah. This guy can tell us, oh, he's got this many things. They can see, if they see it's part of a system, and that will help them perceive a more predictable income. Okay, we can predict that this company may do well, right? So that's the reason why it's predictability of cash flow, predictability of income.
Yep. And if you want to buy a business, and let's say you don't have experience in that business, will SBA lend you money to buy a business if the cash flow and all that stuff is there?
Yeah, if the cash flow and everything is there, you just find a way to where you can tie yourself in. I call it the X factor of not being able to ruin it. Okay. Like the guy that we had in here before, I helped him purchase an HVAC company, commercial HVAC company, and millions of dollars, right? He doesn't know anything about fixing HVAC. He's never fixed an HVAC in his life, right? But we point out the X factor. Hey, he's got his 5-factor MBA from Carnegie Mellon. He owned a utilities company, which meant I had to do a little digging. On a utilities company, what do? I send teams out to go fix this or fix that, whatever. Okay, so it's like you work with teams and you fix teams out to solve problems. So you're more of a project manager of teams that solve problems. Great. I'm in the boardroom speaking to the bank thing. It's a project manager of teams. This is exactly, and then I point out to them, you do a little digging, the current owner, lady of the current commercial HVAC company, she doesn't know how to fix HVACs either. They're like, what? Yeah. She doesn't know. She's never fixed HVAC in her life. She has teams that know what they're doing that she sends out and pays them back. So if this is the case for her, this guy, how is he not going to be able to do that when he's been doing this for a $40 billion company? This is a step down for him. Yeah. You're right. Check. Yeah. Right. So you just find the X factor. So the thing is you got to do a story. Okay, if you're buying a business where you have no experience in it, what is making you think you can do it? Oh, my dad used to do that all the time, and I grew up around him. That'll actually work. Oh, my dad used to be a contractor, so I kind of grew up around it. They will let somebody purchase a contracting business if we have the story like that, right? Yep. And that was part of his story too. Oh yeah, my dad used to be an electrician, so kind of fix some things with him. Any little thing you can point out. They're trying to remember these loans are the most profitable that banks can do. They're trying to find a way to get it done.
Yeah, that's good. What do you see the average SBA loan interest rate right now?
Right now, to buy a business for the B paper, which is most common, you're looking at usually about, well, any given year, you're looking at 2.25 to 2.75 over Wall Street Journal Prime.
Okay.
So Wall Street Journal Prime is at 8.5 right now. If it goes down, that margin will still stay around 2.25 to 2.7. And it's floating normally. So every 3 months, it'll go up or down with the Wall Street Journal Prime. Now, the one that I got approved today, this one got approved by a paper bank, which is usually, it's kind of, I wouldn't really go in if you can only afford the loan. If it's from an A paper bank, I'm not so sure if you can actually afford whatever it is you're trying to buy. Because it's just kind of just more difficult to get. This one we actually got in the 6s fixed for like 25 years for a commercial building. So we did good there. But if a person says, oh, well, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. If it's not in the 6s, I can't afford that. Then you can't afford it, because that's not normal to be able to get.
Yeah. Now SBA loans are lower during like pandemics, right? Like during COVID, they drop them. So if we ever have a great pandemic, you don't want one, but you can get SBA loans really low.
Well, that's the thing right now is everybody's like, rates are so high right now. Rates are just so high because they're used to COVID rates. And they're going, and the other people that have been in the industry for like 20 years are like, rates are normalizing. There was COVID rates for like a long time.
They dropped.
Rates are normalizing. Now everyone's like, oh, rates are so high. But
any other questions?
Specific. What about one last one? How often do you work with contractors and getting them loans for their businesses? And what are a couple of things you would look for? So we got a bunch here starting their businesses. You just got his license. What does that look like for them?
For these here, and what would be a good idea for them is that they have their licenses, right? So
in a business entity like an S corp.
And a business entity, an S corp. So that would mean if they wanted to, they could actually buy a contractor's business that's already operating right now. Someone can have trucks, equipment, and all that stuff that he's looking to sell, and they actually have the license.
Because they have the license.
And they have a license and everything. Much easier. And they would have to put down 10%. So let's say this company was selling for $500,000 or even $300,000. They would have to come in with $30,000, 10% plus maybe a little bit extra. Let's call it 13% or so for everything, right? But from day one, they're getting a cash flowing business, making money. They are checking that, hey, we want to see the last 3 years business tax returns. We need to make sure everything, the debt, all of that stuff is paid off. And there may be some employees or whatnot from there, and then you take it from there and then grow it. And then get your, then grow it with those tax returns. Now, there's that. Contractors, contact me, because do not just go to any bank and ask for a loan or even ask, hey, what can you do for a contract? Because a lot of banks are scared of contractors. They're because of they understand that they can actually contract themselves out of business if they try and grow too fast. So that's their big scare, is that, they're gonna get their eyes big and they're gonna contract with some super huge company, and then they're gonna do all the work and that company's just not gonna pay them. They're gonna go out of business. They're terrified of that. But certain companies, they look through that and they are comfortable with it. I've done several loans to contractors. Their tax returns usually look pretty good.
And if these guys wanted to get a loan, so basically get that corporation, get out there and start landing massive jobs. Cash flow it, basically live lean, don't go buy a bunch of junk, so that they have money showing at the end, and then they can come to you and get a really good loan, potentially based on their cash flow, and continue to expand.
Show the money on your tax returns. Even when you're getting in there, don't try and save the money. Try and show the money as fast as you can, because that extra money that you're showing, that's going to give you access to, okay, I need to borrow like $400,000. We're going to look at your business tax returns, go, you can make the payment. based off these tax returns, you can make a payment. Oh, we're good. They've been in business. They've got the contractor's license. They've done this, done that. On your resume, it'll show, hey, they've been in the industry. Yeah, you may have only owned your business for a year and a half, maybe 2 years, right? But on your resume, it shows you've been in the industry for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So in the meeting,
good,
it says 10 years industry experience.
Oh, yeah.
What does it say right now? And here's the gold mine, owner operator. Oh, their current owner operator, 10 years industry experience.
They're required to have 4 years journeyman level.
See, so they're owner operator, however many years industry experience, and they got cash flow and tax returns. What are we waiting for?
Does cash flow, is this considered cash flow? Is it 2 options? 1, sell their company or get a loan. When they sell it, the income they pay themselves goes on cash flow, right? And that's calculated. If they're going to get a loan, does the money they pay themselves consider it as cash flow too?
Absolutely.
Okay, now what if they set up themselves a solo IRA and they keep funneling 67,000 a year into that and paying themselves 100,000? Does the K1s from that, so that they're saving taxes using that as an investment mechanism, does that K1 also consider cash flow for getting a loan?
That might depend on the lender, but if they were selling the company, definitely. Because if they're selling the company, then they'd say, look,
there's still money to that.
Yeah, they're saying you don't have to do that. Like you don't have to put it in a K1. You can put it anywhere you want. The lender may say, oh, well, they're consistently doing this per year or so, but they would still count if their cash flows are still there. They would still count it. But to be honest, I used to like when I came across the contractors' tax returns because they usually looked good.
They do.
You know, they looked good. There was a lot of cash flow there. And the good thing is too, is they get to write off a lot of depreciation on the machinery and stuff. So they actually get to save a lot of it. Depreciation is an add back. So you can write off as much depreciation as you want and it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, perfect.
So, right, depreciation, amortization, interest on those equipment loans, not going to hurt you. It goes down to the cash flow.
Nice.
Interest, depreciation, amortization, owner's compensation, all goes back down to the bottom.
Makes it look more valuable.
Yes, so they usually had a lot of add backs.
Thank you for answering this.
Okay, any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
You kind of touched on what I was gonna ask. Just basically for my brother and I, we're not actually starting off just doing little projects. We're already almost set to start big projects right away. And is that the same type strategy? Do the cash flow, keep it, don't buy everything.
Show your cash flow that you're making on your tax returns, because you can tell me whatever you want to tell me right now, but it's not going to matter. Only thing that's going to matter is your tax returns when I see them. Somebody says, hey, I want to meet with you and let me show you, let me see, let's talk. Let me tell you a little bit about my business and then you can see what you can do for me. Look, send me your tax returns and I'll tell you what I can do for you in about 2 minutes. That's it. Send me your tax returns and I will let you know what I can do for you. It's that easy. You don't need to, I'll save you a whole day's trip. Right? What you may want to do, Alan, is actually help them in growing their business. You would actually probably be a tremendous asset to help them like look and say, like locate a business that may be good for them to purchase and then grow from there.
Yeah, perfect.
Start from there. Like, oh, you know what? Now let's
the
make
minimum down. They can buy it, get the loan to buy it, and it's cash flowing paying for it. Now they already got
exactly. They're already cash flowing as soon as they buy it from day one. If SBA does the loan, it's cash flowing. Now remember, SBA 25.2 billion in loans in 2022 with a less than 2.7% default rate, which means you have a less than 2.7% chance of failing if the SBA actually gets it done. Right? And then you grow from there. Right? So it's just like, hey, we grow from there. You have the contractor's license, but now all they need is they don't need to start from square one if they have a little bit of savings or so. Boom.
Yeah.
We go right here.
Jump right in. I love it.
Yep.
Good stuff. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so let's give it up to Ryan. So who learned something new today? So did you guys get some juices flowing, some ideas? So when you do grow your business or when you do expand, there's opportunities that maybe weren't there before? So this is what the mastermind group's all about, is bringing in specialized people. Ryan's been part of the mastermind group for how long? About 6 months? 6 months or so.
Longer than that. Yeah.
So before I take this off the screen, take a picture of this, because you never know when you're gonna need a gentleman like this in your back pocket, or if a business comes into play. It's all about who you know, and that's the power of being connected.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And this is the power of being part of a mastermind community, to always have new people in your back pocket.
And their mothership is in Rancho Cucamonga. Would they be able to visit there once?
Oh yes,
check out, because you're going to get there with massive people.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really cool. In fact, sometimes it's so packed, almost no room.
Sometimes it's standing room only. Like next week is going to be phenomenal. I'll go over that later, because
14 days. 14 days.
14 days.
14 days.
Yeah.
It's not next week. Okay.
September 12th.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
September
All right.
12th, what do you have?
Oh, yeah,
This lady who's
time.
a public speaker and trains.
Here, you can-
I turned my phone off.
You do it right here.
And before you leave, these guys can get pics with you, right? Since you're on the 49ers. I'm getting one. Come on.
I was
UCLA
like, hey,
There you go. Come on.
I had a cup of coffee with them, they call it. Hey,
Yeah.
you know, so RG3 was on LinkedIn, and RG3 was like, yeah, you know, Bo Nix is going to be the first rookie quarterback to start for the Denver Broncos since John Elway, right? And I had to chime in and go, Bo Nix is 24 years old right now. And I said, I was like, Bo Nix is 24 years old right now. I was like, there's 7 other starting NFL quarterbacks that are 24 years old right now. And I was like, the Texans, Bryce Young, and the Texans quarterback, they've already been starting, and they won't be as old as Bo Nix for 2 more years.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Oh man.
you can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this part of the mastermind group is typically what we'll do is we'll ask a question, and we'll start sharing ideas, sharing resources, sharing challenges, and then helping each other.
Yeah.
But we're going to do something a little special tonight, since not everybody is fully invested in business, and some of you guys are just starting out. I'm going to bring life coach Jesse up here to kind of run a different sort of mastermind. And so life coach Jesse, for those of you who don't know life coaching, Jesse actually got certified at a master level on NLP. NLP was it's called neuro-linguistic programming, but it's a high level training from Anthony, what was it?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. And so he's an amazing gentleman. I'm proud to have him as a vice president of the IE Mastermind. So let's give it up for Jesse one more time.
Hey, round of applause for Ryan.
Yeah,
Right?
thank you.
Listen, guys, I have a real estate background, right? And most of the time people think the most important person is the agent, the lender, the title. No, it's the underwriter. The underwriter is the one that structures the deal. Did you guys hear his conversation? Guess what? He's also an underwriter. Okay, he didn't share that with you guys, but that's like that means that he will get the deal done. Just talk to him, get creative with it. So today's mastermind is going to be a little bit more creative. We're going to do one of 2 things, okay? We're either going to focus on your personal life, and it's okay for you to share, or your business, okay? Would you guys agree that both are important? Raise your hand.
Yes.
Sometimes your personal, right, affects your business because you have a wife at home, you have kids, maybe you have child support, anxiety, depression, a bunch of stuff. Or sometimes in business, maybe you don't have any cash flow. That's the first thing he led it with, right? Cash flow is so important because cash flow, it funds the business and it funds your next month. So one of the things that I want you guys to understand, how many hours are in a day? 24. 24. Okay. Do you guys know what's 1% of your day? 14 minutes and 42 seconds equals 1%. Yet people always make excuses. You know what? There's not enough time to work out. Oh, you don't know it because you don't have any kids. Or there's not enough time to make those extra calls in business. Or there's not an extra time to read 10 pages of a book or just read a book. It's only 1%, 14 minutes and 42 seconds. Nick asks me all the time, hey, what's that? What's that alarm on your phone? What's going on? Oh, that's just a timer. I just click it just so I'm consciously saying like, hey, I got to get the most of this minute. How many conversations? What type of deep cut, right? So for you guys right now, and I said persona, and they say that they say that your writing, the more it starts resembling a doctor's, the more successful you're gonna be. So if you have terrible
Dang,
writing,
you're successful.
it's just like, bro, just get ready, man. Like I'm out there.
Whoa.
There we go. I was on stage already with him. Story,
Yeah.
right? So good stuff. So we're gonna go around the table and we're just gonna pick one thing and we're gonna start bringing it together as a mastermind. And you're gonna see what's gonna flow. One thing either, you don't have to pick, just either pick personal or business and say what's one thing that you want to talk about in this mastermind, and then we're gonna start diving deep. Mr. Ryan, what's one thing that you want to talk about, either personal or business?
I think the personal, the balance. Trying to find
You hear
balance.
that? It's fine.
This timer.
Ryan,
Remind me.
let's make the most of it.
Take the chicken out.
Trying to find a balance between personal and business.
The word balance. Rotation. This is good. It's my favorite topic. Nick knows this already. Nick,
Business,
and what's the one thing that you wanna talk about business?
restructure.
Restructure. Round of applause for him.
Yeah.
I said round of applause because the good thing about in business is if that you're not happy with certain things, you could restructure. When you're married, you try to restructure the marriage, right? It's like, hey, we're already in it 10 years into it. It's not that easy, right, sir?
Business.
Business. And what in business do you want to talk about today?
How to launch my business, like how to get my foot in the
Oh,
door.
go ahead, brother. Come on, sit. Alan, Mastermind,
I mean,
Millionaire
I'll
Club.
tell mine in a minute. You got it, brother.
Millionaire Club.
Oh, good. Hey, how to launch my business, like, yeah, how to start it.
Hey, but it was an open invitation. I said, hey, you want to be a millionaire? Come here. My brother.
I didn't quite fully understand the
So the question is, right now we're about to go around the table. We're all gonna dive in deep, but pick one thing that you want to talk about in the table, either your personal life or your business.
So I just pick a topic and we're all gonna contribute
Yes.
to like a solution.
Yes, to a solution. There you go, solution. Yeah.
I think definitely, like he said, like starting your business, starting your business now.
Starting, that's a good one.
Launching.
So,
Yeah,
so one said launching and one said starting. Both are similar but different, right?
Because what I want to try to figure out is I need to start establishing some cash flow because I've been an employee for a long time, and I'm switching into business and investing and so on and so forth. Might end up getting paid by Alan at some point, but I'm trying to create value, right? So the question is, how do you go from becoming an entrepreneur and actually making some cash flow from your investments, right? So that you have some cash flow. I gotta operate. I can't just invest everything and just have it all out there. I still gotta eat, you know?
Perfect. So that's a good one.
I think the person
Person. And what do you want to talk about the personal today?
manage the time.
Manage time. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like that. What about you, sir?
Business.
Business. And what do you want to talk about today?
Basically, my situation is a little different than everyone's. So I already work for a company that's a manufacturer company. Just to figure out if RMO is the best choice or an RME. I already kind of figure RMO is the best choice, but just to start off something.
What about you, sir?
I'm gonna kind of go both ways on it.
It's okay.
To ask, I'm gonna ask you a question. So I'm a carpenter by trade.
Okay.
So my personal mindset as a worker, how do I transition my worker mindset to do the business mindset?
That's a good one right there. Cool. Round of applause for that one.
Yeah.
Put it right here, mindset, because it's both, right? For me today, I'm gonna talk about on the personal one too, just my recharging, recharging my battery. Have you guys ever worked so much?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a day, I'm not talking about a month, I'm talking about years. I remember the last time I took a vacation, It's like my mindset was because how many of you guys are the oldest? I'm the oldest of three. I come from a household where my parents worked in La Fresa, which means the strawberry fields, picking up strawberries up in Fresno, right? So for me, all I know is work, work, work. Whenever they took a break, they still work. They find a way. That's all it is. So in my mind, this is why I bought into the mindset of Grant Cardone, 10x everything. Keep working. And I was operating on the mindset like this. And I talked to Nick all about this. Have, do, be. Until I have $100,000, $1 million, then I'm gonna do the things that 100,000 people or millionaires do, which is invest in themselves out of this, and then I'm gonna be happy. I know a lot of people that live their lives, which is this: they work for 40 years of their life, only to retire on 40% of what they can't live on. How many people have you guys heard about the word inflation? It's real, right? Imagine all the people that were gonna depend on Social Security these days can't even retire off of that, right? So my mindset through the coaching went from this to what this is a successful one. Okay, write this one. You gotta be, do, have. First, you gotta be that millionaire in your mindset, but you gotta believe it, right? So then you could do the investments. We just hosted an event. If we were hosting that event based on the fact that we had $100,000 in our bank account, we wouldn't have done it because we didn't have it. But we did it anyways. Why? Because we believe, right? So oftentimes the main thing with your business, it starts with the belief, right? But sometimes if you guys live in a home or if you have a wife, sometimes those people don't believe in you. They don't believe in the vision, right? How many of you guys can relate to that? Because I don't want to. Okay, so we got 4.
Actually, there's another one.
What's the other one?
Getting your spouse on board with the investments, when they got to sign off on something, because they're like,
it's getting real. Round of applause, man. We're getting real. Hey, that's some real stuff. I'm
talking notarized signatures to get the money out of retirement so that you can invest it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince her that, hey, leaving it in the stock market is just going to go up and down, maybe grow really slow. And I'm trying to get her to let me invest that stuff.
Yeah. Come on, somebody, that's real. You're not the only one at the table here. Nick could also relate to that too, and he could give you guys feedback and stuff. And this is a mastermind because, well, imagine this. Imagine all your life you bought into the work, you're all good. But all of a sudden you meet a brother Alan and he just shows you like, hey, you could actually be a millionaire, this. But you gotta invest some money out of pocket. Right. Oh, I see the vision. Let me go tell the wife. What? You're cuckoo. What are you gonna mean? Like we're 60, we're 40, we're 50, right?
Well, finally, some people are risk adverse.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that what we're doing now, which is the default, is actually more risky. Yeah. Leaving it where the 401k puts it, that's actually sometimes more risky than finding a good, solid, higher level investment with a guaranteed payout.
Yeah.
Just takes more thought, but it's less risky.
So we're gonna start going all by one, okay? So let's start with that conversation, because all of this is conversations. We all have conversations every day. How many of you guys actually go to the gym 5 times every 7 days? Raise your hand.
Oh, no.
Right? But we all know the importance of going to the gym. Even the NFL guy, do you think sometimes he wants to get up? He works so much, but he gets out anyways, right? So the conversations, stop trying to recruit people into your idea. Instead, enroll, okay? Write that word. So Nick said NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, language matters. You saw the way he structures deals? It's like, give me information. Oh, now I know how to structure. So you got to know how to talk. So enrolling is the word, not recruiting. Because when you're recruiting somebody, you have what? Commission breath. How many of you guys are business owners and you constantly pitch yourself or you pitch your service, right? Oftentimes people misinterpret you because what? You sound like you have commission breath. Well, that's good that you guys are getting a piece of paper then. You guys want to take notes? Does anybody need a pen? Are you guys good? So enrolling conversations. So the best way for you, and this is not marriage counseling, I'm just talking people conversations, is you got to talk about what's in it for them. Okay, so if most of your conversation, if you were to just record yourself and be like, hey babe, guess what? This is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get this and other. Enroll them into what's in it for them. How do they look into the vision, right? So talk about what you see. Write that down. What you see them in. How do you see them in the vision? Because you're married, right? Mm-hmm. At some point, you enrolled her into the vision of marrying you. You said, hey, You want to marry, not just
She
based on
enrolled
emotions.
herself.
Hey, maybe you were the only one. He's like, you know what? It's time. Doesn't matter. But you enrolled her into the vision, and she didn't even know. What a risk! What a risk! All you gotta say, babe, you did it once. Do you trust me? Ask that question. Okay. Powerful question. Do you trust me? That's a powerful question. I had a Marine who was. I have in my life. I don't know why. I either bring about my closest friends or brotherhoods are people that come from broken homes, divorced, or Marines. I don't know what it is, but if I tell you Marines, it's because they're loyal to the soil. I don't know if you guys have backgrounds, but my upbringing is like loyal to the soil, right? Loyalty is everything. And I remember when I was taking the coaching program, I had to enroll one of my best friends who was suicidal. He had PTSD. He carried a little bracelet, a silver bracelet with the names of the people that passed away out there. And you ever deal with somebody that has PTSD? It's like they tell the same story over and over as if they're the first time that they're telling you the story, right? But
They're living in the past. Yeah.
as a brother that cares, I listen to it but it's like the same 40-minute story over and over. So I'm here calling him, and I got the life coach trainer next to me, and I used to be the type of person that listens to everybody's story. But my breakthrough with this particular one, she said, put it on mute. Ask him if he trusts me. Well, I trust you. No, I know he trusts me. Ask him. Hey, do you trust me? He kept on storying about, do you trust me? I know this. Ask him. Do you trust me? Yeah, I trust you. That's what he said. And guess what? He went that night. He slept in the parking lot because he had no money. He by the way, it had been 1 year since he had seen his child because they took him away because he was out of it mentally. He took the coaching program. When I went to the graduation, he was clean shaven and he was nicely dressed, and I was in tears because my brother's life had been saved. And ever since then, he's been good. So that's the type of real conversation it takes. Sometimes it takes you, do you trust me? However, what happens in relationships when oftentimes they've trusted you, but you fucked up, excuse my language, right? It's like, damn, it's hard to build that trust. So that's conversations. Let's talk about balance. This is my favorite conversation. I learned it. There's no such thing, right? So what there is harmony, okay? The right question, shift your mind. How do I have harmony in a world full of chaos? Because here's the thing, like, is life always happening? Yes, right? The coronavirus, the China virus, whatever you want to call it, right? It happened. Did it affect people? Did it affect business? Did business go out of business? But guess what? People still made money. People still made money in the time. In fact, during that time, people made the most money. So this is a lot of stuff to talk about here, but really simple: how to have harmony, how to have rhythm. I dance salsa and bachata. Okay. If you take a salsa and bachata class, they're gonna teach you how to dance on 1 or 2. If you were to ask me what that means, I'm like, dude, I don't know, like 1, 2. But if you see me dance, you'd be like, oh, are you an instructor? I dance to the music. So ask yourself, are you the analytical that dances your life on 1 or 2, or do you dance to the rhythm? Right? Create your own music. Manage time. This is powerful. Who said that? Manage time. How to manage time? What's going on?
Because I have many things to do.
Okay.
The family, the business,
And
the husband.
and the husband. Okay, for you, in order to take that quantum leap, the powerful word is delegation. Okay, you got to learn how to delegate. At some point, you got to decide what's your time worth. What makes you more money? Spending time with your kids. Not saying that it's not important. Spending time with your husband, or spending time on the business as you build it up. At the beginning, as you build it up, it's going to be what? Spending time in the business, right? So you got to delegate. Maybe you hire a babysitter. But it costs you money. But it's costing you more money not to work on the business. Imagine right now with technology and all this money that people are spending on ads. It's a 24 contact sport, right? Meaning, who are you competing against when it comes to your business? Everybody here, who are you competing with?
Yes, other business brokers.
And other business brokers. He's going specific. Who are you competing with?
Everybody who does the same thing as me.
Okay, so a comment. Who are you competing against in business?
Bigger contractors.
Okay, that's one. The next level is anybody that has your your client's attention. Write that down. That's who you're competing against.
Okay.
So what does that mean? You're competing against Coca-Cola. You're competing against the FIFA World Cup. You're competing against the Super Bowl. because they're getting the attention away from your clients, okay? Attention pays. Everybody write that down. Attention pays. When I learned that from my mentor that I invested in, I was like, oh, okay, now I got to think bigger, okay? Now I got to think bigger. So when you know you're competing against these big corporations, is there no wonder why they spend so much money for a commercial on a TV just to get attention, right? So you guys got to think, treat your business like a business. That's why it's costing you more money right now, not working. If you're only working, trying to build a business, a multi-million-dollar business, 2 hours a day, I don't know how successful you're going to be, okay? The next one, balance, recharge. For me, recharge, the way I recharge is silence, a day of silence, an act of service. That's like my love language, act of service, because I give so much to people. So all I do is ask for help. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's hang out. Hey, take me out to eat or something, whatever. The reason why is because it's an act of service of kindness. I'm always pouring out to people that recharges me. It just makes me, it makes me feel good. I'm like, wow, thank you so much. You didn't have to be. How many of you guys struggle asking for help? Raise your hand. 1, 2. Why is it?
It's just, yeah, I don't like to depend on others. So I try my best to where I'm like, I don't want to have to depend on anyone because I don't want to get let down.
Good stuff. Real. Everybody round of applause. Round of applause. Personality type test called the DISC. Okay? You can look it up. I'm going to talk to you about NLP. Ryan is a DC with a little bit of S. And just to let you know, I have this brain that I just read people and I just know how to categorize it. Have you guys ever read the 5 love languages?
Yes.
Raise your hand, raise your hand. So doesn't it make it easier to know your wife's love language? Because now you know, oh, okay, this is how they operate. So I got to do more of this instead of this because I was way totally off, right? For some people, for some women, like their love language is touch. So holding, cuddling, right? Being affectionate. For some women, they don't even receive that. They're so cold, right? And what if that is your love languages? So there you are pouring out to her for the way you receive it, but that's not the way she receives it. Same thing goes with the DISC. It's very important. So I'm going to tell you the following because that was real. The D is a driver. I is influence. S is structure. C is critical. All right, so critical doesn't mean that he's like always judging people. No, critical just means it's all about the details, analytics, right? So before anybody takes any coaching, everybody already has the DISC personality, right? The DISC, right? So it's always a combination of 2. You might want to write that down. You might want to write that down. Nick Pius, he's a DC. I'm a DI, but I'm about to explain it. So the driver, their mindset is if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Because I don't like to depend on it. But they have a negative battery. You know what the negative battery is? Somewhere along the line, they got betrayed so many times or they got let down so many times that they made a personal decision, not a business decision, a personal decision that they would never allow it to leave it up to chance ever again. So it's always going to be on them. That's a negative battery. Why is it a negative battery? Because my brother, sometimes it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to rely on the team, right? When you're winning a Super Bowl, you don't just rely on the quarterback. You rely on the offensive linemen to block for the quarterback. You rely on the wide receivers to know their routes. You rely on the running back to be able to also be there, right? The tight end has to be a utility player, right? Either he has to block, he has to run, he has to do a lot of things. So you can't depend. No man is an island entirely to himself is one thing that I've learned. So that's the negative battery over the D. So when I do the coaching, I have to replace that with something positive. The I is the influencer. This is me, the DI. I forgot who brought it up in the conversation, but the best example is Will Smith and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. People are just drawn to these people. Their charisma, their negative battery is people pleasers. Okay, they want the whole world to like them. They think, oh, well, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? That's not a way to live. When you're always constantly thinking for others, you know. Oh, I know who said it. Oscar De La Hoya was on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shake podcast, and he said it took him a while to get over him wearing the fishnets that he got caught up on the right. You remember? He said, you know what? So what? It happened. These days he doesn't even care. He said that growing up on the rise, as soon as he became a multimillionaire in that interview, everybody wanted a piece of him. All his money. So he had to say no. So now he lives a life where he said he could count 3 people that really love him and he's okay. So now he just says this: He says that to a lot of people. He doesn't take it personally, right? Because he got rid of that negative battery of caring for people. Imagine people that have this battery when they become a millionaire, all of a sudden you feel guilty for not taking care of the people. Somebody makes a comment like, oh, you're too selfish. Guess what that person does because they have a negative battery? Here you go, take some money, here you go. And they constantly are feeding the wrong people. BS, structure. The reason why, do you know anybody that's so organized down to the T, their folders, everything color coordinated? Is because they dislike chaos. Because in their mind, they think if they're so organized, it'll prevent chaos from happening. Guess what? Chaos could happen at any given time. C, the critical. They're scared of making the wrong decision. That's why they're so precise. That's why they're so effective. They believe in precision, perfection in the system, etc. Down to the T, everything microscopic. So today I was talking to Nick, and we're talking about the gala that we're hosting in 90 days. And I'm talking, because I already know his personality, I'm talking about the detail down to the T of like, hey, what are we gonna have for dessert? Listen, by the numbers, last time we got what did I say we got? Cheesecake. And guess what? Everybody took it. He's like, yeah, because I love cheesecake. And I was getting up like, man, why does everyone take it? No one's eating the cheesecake. That means more for me. So I said, this time to save money, let's get some Hershey Kisses. And then he started laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? He's like, oh, it's so funny that we're talking about something so small, Hershey Kisses, and that's so far away. But knowing his personality, better for him to know everything up front than down the line, because then the day of, I'm like, bro, why are you tripping on the little things? Let's just focus on the big picture at the end of the day. So you got to know the stuff. So these people are the negative energy. So the reason why I brought this up is for your mindset and for you to have harmony, etc. So now let's go back to the main thing, because this is where Ryan is going to shine, and also Brother Allen on all the feedback. Restructure for Nick Pye is what are you trying to restructure? What's going on, or why? I think the important question is why. Be honest here.
Just to restructure some of what we're doing with the mastermind, just to streamline it a little bit better for the members. Because I think we have too much going on, and I think we should focus on what's working. And
he's sitting across a man who has 13 businesses, multi-millionaire, millions. What did he say? You know what? He's spreading himself too thin. Time to make it smaller. Why do I bring this up? This is it. And what did he say? What word did he say? Streamline. That's a word that an analytical, a critical person says. I already know that about Nick. That's why me and Nick work good together, because it allows me to be the people person, right? Like the impactor, bring in the people, not saying that he doesn't. So then we figure out the system. So let's give him feedback right now, guys. Anybody that wants to give him feedback about the mastermind, specifically you two, since you've seen enough.
Oh, feedback about this
Streamline? No, the ranch. Let's talk about ranch.
Oh, ranch. Yeah. You know, one of the things I'm focusing on, because as I get my businesses going so much, I have to do two things. And that's why actually my thing, I'm still honing in the 80-20, focusing on the things that make you 80% of your energy and go to 20% that makes you the most amount of money. That's going to be important. Thinking about that as you structure. Using massive AI, I'm using AI like crazy. We embrace it and we're running with it. All these guys get massive emails constantly. We don't write them. We already wrote them and set them up on AI, and they just go out already pre-programmed. But the other thing too
Alan,
is,
I'm sorry, what was your 80-20?
80-20. No, that is my 80-20.
No,
I'm focused on it.
You said
80% of your time should be focused on the 20% of things that make you the most amount of money.
okay.
So what I teach them, and they already know it because they've heard it massively, and that is this: if you have a construction project that's going to produce you $5,000 in 1 week in profit after paying yourself, and then you have another one that produces you $50,000 in 1 week after paying yourself, which one should you be marketing? But what contractors do and what business owners do is they go to a web designer that knows nothing about their business. And then the web designer goes, well, you tell me, you're the master of your business. What do you want me to market? And the fact that the business owner didn't go through and look at every single penny and every project through their P&L long-term to see exactly what each thing they do produces for them money-wise, because most businesses don't know that. You just watch The Profit with Marcus Lemonis. Most businesses don't know that kind of stuff. And what happens is they're marketing stuff that's a waste of time. I tell them, don't market 80% of the things you do. Let the poor contractors that didn't go to my school do that. You market only the 20% of things that make you the most amount of money. So the 80-20 is what I focus on. You know what I mean? Because then you can expand and then give away all that other 80% stuff that you don't need to do, either AI it or hire low-level admins and stuff.
And back to what you were saying, right? Your breakthrough is delegate, right?
Yes.
Delegate
Yes.
the 80% that's like costing you money and focus on the 20%, 8%. This is one thing I've learned. Successful people don't really have balance, right?
Yeah.
They're because look, they apply what? The 80-20. Is there balance in 80-20? No, you're focusing 80% on 20%. This is one of the conversations that really helped me. Do you want to be rich or do you want to be right? If you want to be rich, 80-20. If you want to be right, well, do something else.
Yeah.
Let's keep going with the restructure feedback and stuff, Mr. Because this is good for both of us here to see what can we do. Is there a business that maybe we can buy? Is there a creative something where we could? Because right now we want to get cash flow in the company to get something going, like moving. For what reasons we don't know yet, but just to continue doing 80-20 stuff. How can we, as a mastermind, have a mastermind business, right? Consultation is one thing that he has experience. He was also in hospitality, working for the hospitals, and he also has a Aflac business. Well, not Aflac business, but like doing the benefits, anything else. He's also a Marine, right?
Hoorah.
Hoorah! I used to be a district manager, so I used to manage different locations all around the state. I have a real estate background, so that's enough data for what can we do.
Yeah, and I think you're on line with something is that if we get maybe a list of people of all the members and see, and then we want to see what is their industry experience, something like that. Then we can actually see, okay, I can partner with this person, go into business and see like, hey, we can go into this business with this person possibly, and and then you make matching partner because
everybody go.
But watch this. Watch this. I want to blow their minds. If they start an LLC and they're managing members, and then they make everybody members of the LLC, but they're not decision makers because the managing member makes it. But every person. So if I'm a member of that, but not the member, and they're all members. So when you give a loan, all of us technically are small part owners. So if they get part ownership when they pay for the program, the loans they can get can be tremendous, right? Because we all, like if all of us have a value of, $75 million combined together that are part owners in IE Mastermind, you can take that into consideration when taking a loan, right?
they can, but they would only count whoever's a personal guarantor. Now, if you had only a person that is 20% or more owner would actually have to serve as a personal guarantee on it, but there would have to be a personal guarantor on each loan. But the fact is that the IE Mastermind can own a portion of several businesses by bringing the groups together and pairing the people with the right.
Say it again, because I listened to it, but now I want to pay attention to it.
You see what I mean? Like the IE Mastermind, you guys can own a portion of several businesses by pairing the right people with the right purchase of the business and bringing that together. And you have the people to do that. You have so many different it's something to look into. And then they could say, oh yeah, when I Mastermind and ended up owning, the business.
So I got it now, because see what you guys are witnessing. Some of you guys may or may not hear it, but just know that you guys are being a witness to we've known each other for months now, almost a year, but we haven't figured things out until what is it? Yeah. He planted the seed. Hey, let the mastermind be the place where people become a millionaire. The thing is, some of us already have millionaire business owners. But what if the call to action for the mastermind is join the mastermind so you could have a multi-million-dollar business portfolio?
And the other thing is that the mastermind could be a great attribute. Right away, let's just say somebody wants to get an SBA loan or buy a business or something like that, right? Yeah. But they don't actually have the industry experience, right? Well, you can mitigate that if they say, oh, I have a management team, and here's the board of my management team, right? So if they're buying a contracting company and they don't really have experience, you're on the board. It shows your resume, your whole resume. This is who my board is. And I've gotten several loans done like this of just, oh, look at their board. Oh, these, and it had nothing to do with the person, but this was their team that they partnered with, right? So the IE Mastermind would be able to provide a great number of board members to companies that need that extra on their resume. They can now incorporate, if you're a board member of, you know, if I'm a board member on businesses that he wants to buy, right? They're gonna look and read my whole resume and attach it to basically his face.
Yeah. And go, wow, let's do this.
Yeah,
They want
like,
to play then.
This guy
They
can't
wanna
fail.
play.
Look at his board. Look at his board. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't
That's why
fail.
we're building community.
To,
gentlemen.
Right.
and to simplify it, just because this was like, I'm already like, we got it, let's go home now. Pack it out, let's go.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go around the table. So to simplify it, right? In real estate, when somebody's trying to buy a house, oftentimes it's their credit that's messing it up. And they're like, they want to buy now because houses continue to go up, right? So what they do, they get added to a trade line, right? $10,000 worth of a trade line. And what it does is that history gets imported here, and then their credit goes up and up to get qualified within that 30, 90-day period.
Yep.
So what we're doing here, it's not the same thing, but we're collectively bringing together. Round of applause for Mr. Ryan and for me being vulnerable. Okay, that's the word. I talked to him about it too. I said, bro, the business is gonna grow as vulnerable as you get. And literally today we had a bless you.
Thank you.
Did he sneeze or not?
I held it in. Kind of.
You ever try to sneeze and someone says bless you and it goes away before it happens? So okay. So the next one, how to launch your business and how to start your business from the two gentlemen there. So we have the master teacher here and also somebody here that could help you. So you'll go first. You said how to launch your business. What about it? What are you trying to do?
I mean, it's because I'm the first one in my whole family to try and like, to own a company or a business.
Round of applause,
Like
guys.
everybody just goes to all this work, you know? So I don't have any friends or family members that I can go to for advice or anything. That's why it's hard for me to kind of like take the step, you know?
Yeah.
Wait. How long you been in my school?
I signed up last October.
And what's the statement I always tell you that when you're done with your license?
Gonna come to you guys.
But what's the statement? I eat lunch every day. What does that mean? What does that mean? Tell me. You guys remember? I eat lunch every day. So I wanted to stop one of your thoughts. You said you have no people out there. I tell you guys, I eat lunch every day. That means if you're buying lunch, I will be there. You pick my brain for an hour and a half and you don't pay me anything because you're going to buy my lunch anyways.
Write this
So
down.
you have to schedule those appointments with my staff. So I just wanted you to know, because I wanted to stop that thought that you're not alone. I always tell people in all my videos, you're not alone.
Write this down. Closed mouths don't get fed, brother. You know that.
Yeah.
Just ask. What Nick just did, Nick continues to be transparent and vulnerable. And what a good thing that he said, you know what? You run this part of the mastermind, because now this is the mastermind. Sometimes I participate as a member and I'm like, man, this is what I'm going through, like last time. And today he's participating. So breakthroughs. Is there any action step right now, brother, that you need help with as far as launching your business?
Yeah,
Number one, brother, write this down. You're gonna ask Brother Allen for lunch. That's a must.
Yeah, I already wrote that one.
Okay, cool. What's the other thing that you need help with?
Just right now I'm starting a website and just trying to get my first leads.
Okay, website.
That's what I'm trying to focus on.
And you already have your license
Yeah.
and you know how to do the work?
Yeah, some of it, not all.
No, some of it, but you can work with subcontractors and stuff like
A
that.
lot of my family, that's all they do.
Brother, you have a business. You just now you're working on cash flow.
Yep.
Like I'm telling you, most of the people that I come across that are even okay, some of the I have a contracting business for sale right now for $6.7 million. Most of the people that are calling to buy it do not have their contractor's license. You see what I mean?
Wow.
So just the fact that you have these people are trying to, and some of them are cash buyers.
Yeah.
And they do not have their contractor's
And you're
license.
state approved because you have the experience and you've been approved by the contractor state licensing board. That says value to you.
Right, like that's so, you know, that's gonna be the first question that someone asks. They go to get a loan, do they have a contractor's license? So to have the contractor's license, now it's just your business it's just getting to work, however many jobs you get, you know, getting jobs.
Yeah.
And then that's your business.
Yeah.
That is, it's not a business, and I guess from the bank perspective, somebody could own 8 different LLCs, and they could own these LLCs for 20 years. But when we look at them, we say, what? And I've asked people, hey, what do you do? Oh, I own 3 corporations. Okay, what do you do though? Yeah, I own corporations. Like, well, what do you do though? The money you make, it's your business is your tax returns.
Yeah. Yep.
That's so when you start, you're now it's like, okay, how do I show some numbers on these tax returns? There's your business.
And you took this step. You showed up here. We're
Yeah.
building a community where you get to know all these people. If there's some reason you've been here with a year for us and he needs something done on his house, he's probably gonna look to the contractors in his community.
It happened. Brother Leo, have you guys met Brother Leo? He's a business partner of ours. One of the pool guys who's just brand new in business. He's like just a one-man team. He got him a job, you know? So it's like stuff like that happens here. Yours was how to start a business, right?
Or yeah, starting my business. Yeah, I was talking to Alan last night about my entity, on what I wanted, my entity structure. Either I was talking to him about the S corporation, the sole proprietor.
Okay.
And we were in class. I've always learned that sole prop is the best way to go, right? Yeah. But I've seen some where we work, or my dad and I, it's more of a cash business, right? Like it's we go do the concrete finish work, but we're not under payroll for those businesses. So it's like, I think it's a casual worker.
Casual worker, yeah.
A casual worker.
Just real quick, you mean outside of my school, you were taught that a sole proprietor is the right way to go? Not in my school. In my school, it's S corp.
Yeah, in your school it's S corp, but there's some contractors that have told me you try out sole prop, kind of get your feet in the business, kind of get a feel for it, and then upgrade from there, because it kind of like induces fear, like starting right off the bat. S corp, I know how to do the work. I'm so positive and so sure that I could launch this business, right? Because of the stuff I've learned over the 2 years, that I feel like it overtakes all these other contractors. All these other contractors that do concrete work for these residential work, they don't really like, they sell a project, but they have no clue on what they're selling, right?
Yeah.
And they have no clue about like oh yeah, we can do this, but they don't really have the perspicacity and like what they're selling. And I know like the details, like cracks, everything, how to do the work, etc. I may not know how to, like, the structure. I'm really indecisive on sole prop or S corp.
Yeah.
Because these contractors, I mean, seems like they're doing well, right? They're living a comfortable life. They have their truck, their homes.
Yeah.
Nice family.
Yeah.
Cool. So S corp for you?
S corp for them, not an LLC, because contractors have huge stipulations that they have to pass through: $100,000 bond, 2 surety bonds, general liability, and the S corp allows you to do a dividend draw of 7.65%. No other entity allows that, so you're going to save on taxes. Didn't we go through that last night? I went through that in detail. Yeah, and so you're going to save more on taxes in the long run. You can pull your money out differently, and that company can invest. A sole prop, remember, you're not protected. Unless you have high level insurance, your assets are not protected. A corporation, if it gets sued, it gets sued. Then I just take your license and move it under another corporation. That one can bank BK, but you're still doing construction. Sole proprietor, you can't do that. If it goes BK or you get sued, you can't go out and start a corporation, because now your license is tied up in your sole prop. So anyways,
and then the last one for you, before we move. So
It was just like figured out, just basically be successful. So you're saying just follow what you do, you'll be successful. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do.
Not a 100% guarantee, but yes.
Cool. And then what was yours?
Mine was mindset, but I saw that with you three guys.
Okay,
right
so
now.
you got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then Brother
With
Alan?
you before?
Yeah.
Is what I saw when he asked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of blew me away, but just you three. I don't know how to explain it. Como you guys like
Let it out.
No, it was like you paused, kind of like they actually listened to your question without, like, wow, he's actually a badass question.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't know how to, I'm not explaining it correctly.
It's okay.
But it was neat to see his question affected you guys on the starting of a whole mindset term.
Yeah.
Mastermind business. And it was just like bam, 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 bam. Your minds were like bam, 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 bam.
So that's the mastermind. That's the
And it
mastermind.
just blew me away. Like,
Yeah.
oh, shit, I just saw shit happen
Yeah.
In the right room,
without
brother.
knowing it was happening.
You just saw $1 million like transaction happen before it happened. Here's a
Yeah,
question.
look, I'm getting goosebumps.
Like,
Like you just said,
look at that.
it was like $1 million, just like whoa.
And you're sitting at the table. That's like, that means that, hey, you're next, brother. You're next. You hang around with all the millionaires, like you're bound to be.
Yeah,
next,
and then
right?
I just heard him say, "Just buy me lunch," and I'm like,
So here's the
really
question:
buy-
what came first, the rock or the ripple?
Interesting.
What came first, the rock or the ripple?
Mm.
You ever see a lake and you throw rocks and then the
Mhm.
ripple? What came first? The rock. The
Right.
analytical says the rock because it's real, it's tangible. That's the analytical. You say
Oh, the rock came first.
the rock came first.
Ryan Rock.
The rock came first.
There you
What
go,
came first, the rock or the
I'm
ripple?
going with them. The Rock.
The rock or the ripple?
I don't know, I guess the rock, going with them.
Yeah, I guess the rock too, because you throw the rock and then it causes the ripple.
The ripple, because you had the vision of the ripple before you picked up the rock. So what we just shared right here,
Interesting, that's true.
Yeah.
what we just shared right here, what happened first? The
Oh.
business or the actual
Oh.
business or the vision, right? So that's perspective. Everybody's write this
I
down.
love that.
Perspective drives performance.
Yeah.
Write that down.
perspective drives
How you view things is gonna change it. What you guys have, it's because we were all willing to be perspective, the rock or the ripple. So with that being said, guys,
You
let's
can't
go.
see the ripple, you can't create it. That's good.
With that being said, I'm gonna wind it down, guys. So these are the next two events that we have. So in Rancho, we're gonna have this great public speaker. So you guys are all invited to go check it out. And then September 19th, here we have Dr. Jason Chiriano, man. This is a surgeon that left that, and now he started off his own wellness center in Rancho Cucamonga. You were at the Infinite Growth Expo. You got to see him and even speak to him, right? So these are the type of people that come to this mastermind. Listen, guys, I was always told, yeah, take a picture. I was always told it's better to be the dumbest person at the table because you always like learn something, right? That's how I show up.
Yes.
That's how I show up. But the thing is, even when people reach a certain level, like Brother Allen, Ryan Rock, they're still here learning because they're like, no, there's still a higher level. There's still another ripple, right? They know about the ripple. All right, so next one. So you guys all have a little flyer right here. Raise your hand if you're interested in getting more information about joining the mastermind here in Temecula and all the benefits so we can talk to you. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So right after we'll go in that little room over there just to chat it up, and everybody else, you guys can stay here, talk to Ryan. We're gonna we'll end it with the following. Is there a quote here? So who wants to read the quote? Who wants to read it? Somebody step up.
I want him to read it.
All right, he said.
If you are a guest, please stay here to ask questions and discuss membership options.
And that's the freaking quote of the day because Nick Pius did not update it, but guess what? Everything is perfect. The quote of the day is, but no, literally, when we break this down.
It's hilarious. He read it like, yeah.
You
That's
ready?
good.
Remember, guys, ask questions. Oh my goodness, that's why. All right, guys, break it down. Everybody that's interested in joining the mastermind, let's go over there with Nick and myself. Everybody else, stay here with Brother Allen and Ryan. Asking great questions. Round of applause. Quote of the day.
Quote of the day.
Yeah, I'm glad we got-
pick each other's brains.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take
do
a
it.
picture real quick.
Yeah, let's get a pic of everybody.
Ryan, you did phenomenal, brother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Who was the guy that got the HVAC?
Hey, Robert, you get a picture of all of us, bro?
Oh, yeah.
Then we'll get one
Oh,
with you
we're
and
gonna
you.
do it this way. Everybody, just take.
Oh, you're gonna do it?
He's gonna take a picture. He wants to take a picture of the quote of the day.
Okay. Everybody get.
Everybody say quote of the day. 1, 2, 3. Quote of the day. Ah.
Oh.
Turn off this timer.